done a number of things through your career already in the last 10 years, I believe. If someone has actually never seen anything that you've done before, what is the first thing you want them watching and why?
Well, I don't know if it really has anything to do with me, but if there's, one project that I would recommend to people to see, maybe I think maybe it's the Tree of Life. That was the first film I ever worked on. I was 11 years old. I'm not, I don't have a big part in it or anything, but I think the movie is, watching it now as an adult, I think, it's an incredibly moving movie, and I think it also, maybe it was a very special time for me, the first time being on a film set, so that was exciting for me as well. But I don't know, I might recommend that movie.
Yeah, that's not a bad one. I think I could see that choice. You've worked with a number of talented directors. I mean, some great directors. Is there something that all of them share that you've noticed, or are they all such individuals that they're hard to quantify like that?
Mostly it's hard to quantify, but I think that there is definitely one consistent characteristic is that they all love storytelling. They all love stories. They all love filmmaking, and they're, complete film nerds. So you think you look at somebody who's, been, making amazing movies for decades now, and you think about how they get there, and you don't really know it looking in from the outside, and you work with, one of these individuals, and you realize that they're just watching twice as many movies as anybody else, and that's that's what gives them the upper hand. So I think it's hard work and it's focus, and and then a dedication to their craft, and I think that's pretty consistent across the board.
For people that aren't familiar with the Tender Bar, what are you actually most excited for people to see in the movie?
I think that, I mean, really, I think it's just the arc of this story, and that it's based on a memoir by J.R. Moehringer, and it's about his life. I play J.R., or the older version of J.R. Daniel Ranieri plays the younger version when he's 7 or 8 years old in the movie. But I think what I'm most excited is just, this I had a very personal connection to this movie when I read the script, and I think that it is, in a way, a bit of an underdog tale, and some of the more important themes and things that I learned from the movie are that, you may be longing for something, like JR is longing for, a father, that has been absent throughout his life, and I think towards the end, he has this realization that everything he needs has actually been there all along, and I think that's a pretty important theme. So I don't know. I think that it's a very relatable story. I think people are going to get a lot out of it. It's a journey film, but it's also about family, and pursuing your dreams as well.
I'm a big fan of Bill Monahan. I really think he's just such a talented screenwriter. What was it like reading? I mean, obviously it's based on a book, but what was it like reading his words on the page for the first time?
Well, I kept reading it, and first off, I was really excited. I was like, wow, like excited to read the script. I was a fan of some of his work, and started reading it. I was like, oh, this is really good. And then kept reading, and it's like, oh, it's really good. And then you finish, and you're like, man, it's not often that you read a script that's pretty much perfect. And I definitely felt that about this screenplay. So I think I was excited on many different levels. I was excited about the screenplay. I was excited that George was directing it. Ben was attached to play Uncle Charlie when it came around to me. And yeah, those were all exciting things. So it was, this movie has a lot of heart to it, and I think that I just felt a very personal connection to it, and really just wanted to pursue it, and was hoping that I could be a part of it.
Obviously, George is very talented behind the camera, very talented in front of the camera. He's kind of good at his job. What surprised you about working with him, and did he give you any sort of directing notes that you'd really never gotten before as an actor?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, his style is very. I would say it's like a lot of directors I've worked with, but then not like any at all, in the sense that sometimes the direction where it's coming from is kind of through the lens of an actor's perspective. So he's very, very engaged, very energetic. Obviously very charismatic guy, and you almost feel like sometimes the direction that he's giving you, it's like you're almost on the same wavelength. That you're acting the scenes out together in a strange way. So it was a really, really fun dynamic that I'd never worked with an actor director before. So that was a lot of fun for me.
I'm always curious about is how actors get ready for like a big scene. So hypothetically, if you have something that is going to be a tough scene on like a Monday, how do you actually like to prepare for a scene like that? Is it like a week out? Is it days before? I'm just curious about your process.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good question. I mean, whatever, it kind of depends on how much time you have. I think a lot of films you're shooting 12 hours a day, and every day is a big day. And um, so sometimes it's hard to find the time to prepare once you're in it. Because it can be kind of like you got crazy tunnel vision, and you can't do anything else except just be focused on on uh, on making the film. And I think for this, I was a bit more, the schedule had a bit more breathing room for me, and I kind of had a little bit more time to work on some of these scenes maybe before we got there. But I mean, it's just you come home, you get ready. The usually it's the weekend. I take the weekend and I look over all the scenes that I have to shoot that week, and I kind of put 5 stars next to the ones that are most important. And if I have some free time, I spend my time looking at those and trying to digest them and work them out. But really, every day, you come home and you're just getting ready for the next day, because that's all you can really focus on is what's right in front of you.
On that note, I got to stop. I'm just going to say congrats. I do hope the film is a huge hit. Always great talking with you.
Yeah, you too, man. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.